and welcome to tonight's show. We are so excited to have you back for another Tuesday evening with a phenomenal guest. Can't wait to get started with her, Brian, and I know you're as excited as well.
I am excited.
But first of all, I want to introduce my co-host, co-creator, Brian Kelly. Brian is, the stronghold, as we've got on our site right now. I'm going to change it up a little bit, but the stronghold, I just want to say he is a stronghold of what it is that we do each week. And I just want to thank you for that, Brian. But I want to tell you a little bit about Brian for those of you who are joining us for the first time. And Brian has over 20 years software experience. And if you look at our site and some of the things that we have, you can tell that that's where it comes from. It's certainly not my talents. But in addition to that, Brian also was co-owner for 6.5 years for a travel-based multi-level marketing company. In addition to that, Brian is very, very well adept at affiliate marketing. We've worked on a few projects together, and he had some phenomenal affiliate programs that he has worked on and actually has ongoing as we speak. In addition to that, Brian is a speaker and just spoke this past weekend at Craig Duswalt's Rockstar System for Success, sharing and talking about our transition from the Internet Citadel show to the celebrity creators. So we're really excited about that. But I don't want to take up any more time. Brian, thank you so much. As always, I enjoy sharing the platform with you each week. I'm going to go on to you so that we can introduce our guest tonight. Hi, Brian.
Thank you so much, Kathy. As always, you overdo it. Stop that, will you? If I'm the stronghold, then Kathy is definitely the glue that holds this company together. There are so many things that go on behind the scenes. There's no way that just one individual could run this show, but Kathy keeps it all going, all churning, gets the communication going to all of our viewers. Thank you, Kathy. You do a phenomenal job, and without you, this show would be it would not be existent. There's no way we could do this. And you had me turning about as red as these, graphics up and, above and below. It's like, just stop it. You're making me blush. Kathy has a wealth of abilities and experience. She's been an operations manager and a sales manager for over 25 years, and that's with a Fortune 500 company, which I find very impressive, but it doesn't stop there. She's got network marketing experience going back to the mid-'80s and affiliate marketing experience going back to the mid-'90s, and that's really where she shines in affiliate marketing. This woman can sell, and I say this all the time, nearly anything to nearly anyone, and I mean that. She is that talented. In addition to that, she mentioned that I spoke on the stage, but she was being very humble. She was on stage with me. We spoke together. It was a great experience. Thank you, Craig Duswalt. I want to give kudos to you, and that was just a wonderful, wonderful event. And that's something Kathy and I will be doing much, much more of in the near future. But Kathy, you did a great job up on stage. It was so fun to be up there with you. Also, this is also very, very impressive. She's got a designation. It's on her wall. I've seen it. I've been to her office. By the way, I'm in Southern California. She's in Northern California, and our guest is somewhere else, and we'll find that out in just a moment. But Kathy is also designated as a power seller on eBay. That is not an easy designation to acquire. She has a certificate, it's printed, it's on her wall. In addition to that, and even more difficult to acquire, is a top-rated seller eBay designation. So what does all this mean together? This is a woman of integrity, which is why we joined forces. That was what attracted me to her to do this business together. So I couldn't be more fortunate and more blessed to be with Kathy, and I love you, Kathy, and let's get started. Let's bring on Tammy.
Right, and I just want to throw in one more thing, my social media stuff, so that people know I do social media.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. She is also a highly successful social media coach. And sorry, yeah, I missed that one. How can I miss that? Another phenomenal talent that she has. She brings unbelievable amount of traffic to different clients using her social media prowess, and it's wide and varied, many different avenues, and we can go through examples of that, but I don't want to take up the whole night with that, but we could, literally. I'm not kidding you. This woman is talented, and thank you for being my partner.
You're welcome. Thank you. But I'll tell you what, we are so jazzed about our guest tonight, and I've got to put on my eyeballs here so I can see, because I don't want to miss a lick with this gal. Our guest tonight has confidence, passion, and a strong vision of her of her potential have all contributed to Tammy Burnell's incredible success as a woman entrepreneur. Tammy Burnell founded Turning Passions into Profit in September of 2009. Within 90 days of opening her coaching company, she had filled her coaching schedule and established herself as an expert in helping people find their own entrepreneurial spirit. She has since become one of the top group leaders of the Association of Women Entrepreneurs and an in-demand motivational speaker. Tammy's ability to help others fast-track their success has made her an extraordinary effective coach. She helps clients get immediate results and starts cashing in on their passions. I love that. A superstar real estate agent turns to coaching. Beyond that, Tammy's career in real estate spanned 2 markets in over 20 years. She started in the real estate industry in Los Angeles when she was only 19 years old, and real estate purchase contracts were only 2 pages long. She worked as an assistant, buyer's agent, full-time realtor, and she did it all and saw it all. I just want to tell you that she moved out of state to Colorado. She had a fantastic career there, wanted to come back home because she missed being at home, and totally started up an entire new successful company. In addition to that, she was a single mother with a mission. After being in a coaching program for only a month, Tammy learned that her 10-year marriage was over and she was left to support her 2 children. And I've got to tell you, she took adversity and absolutely turned it into positiveness. She is a role model for other women, entrepreneurial women and men. And we are going to talk about the program that she shares, but I want to welcome Brian and I both to our venue tonight, Tammy Burnell. Welcome, Tammy.
Hi, Kathy. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Kathy, so much. It's almost kind of embarrassing when you say that stuff, but it's all true.
Well, and very, very impressive. And you should not be embarrassed about any of it, because what a role model, and how phenomenal for you to have been in the places that you've been and put yourself out there as a leader and a motivational speaker and coach to help other women and men become successful in their industry. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that. It's really interesting because it was like the worst time in my life when I had this 10-year marriage and I thought everything was great. And then a month into my coaching, it was like, oh my God, I'm getting a divorce. My husband was cheating on me. Of course, I don't put that on my website, but it was really the turning point in my life because I had hired a coach, because when I moved from Colorado back to LA, I had a really thriving business in Colorado. And when I moved back to LA, I'm like, oh, this is going to be so easy. I did it in Colorado, I can do it back here, and I know so many more people and blah, blah, blah. And it was not that easy. Even though the market was good, I didn't have that consistent business. So it was really, really a challenge for me. And so my coach took me through some tough times, and it was really interesting because he said to me, I went through like 90 days of drama, like most women do, or most men do, that if they're going through this type of thing. And he says, Tammy, are you done? And I'm like, am I done with what? He goes, are you done with all this drama? Because basically we were doing a therapy session every week. And he goes, if you're not done, I'm done with you. And I'm like, you can't be done with me. I'm paying you $1,000 a month, but it was a turning point in my life that I like to share that story, because I think there's a lot of people in this economy that are struggling or that are hurting, and I had that same situation. But my whole thing with my coaching clients and with my social media presence is I'm not participating in this economy. I'm just not. So I'm just out. So there's my thing.
Right on. So Tammy, tell us, how exactly, you're a coach, right? So how exactly did you get started in coaching? What brought you into that?
So I hired a coach in 2004 because my business wasn't where I needed it to be. And again, a month into my coaching, I had the situation that happened to me, 90 days, but he literally turned my life around. But I knew that first coaching call that I had with him, I'm like, I've already spent 20 years in real estate, and I was really kind of done. So that's why I was really struggling when I came back home, because I was like, you know what, I really don't want to sell real estate anymore. I'm just kind of done with that. And so I thought, I want your job. And I said that to my coach the very first call that we had, because I'm like, this is a cool thing.
I can
But
stay
then, of course,
productive by accessing all my computers from my iPhone, giving me the control I need to accomplish any task.
Oh, we're getting some nice
With
interference
market
here.
recognition for iPhone,
Give
I
it
can
a
be
couple of
anywhere and still be
seconds.
here.
It should go away.
Now that's
I
mobility.
love technology.
yeah, technology is all good. All right, so anywho, I after I told him that I wanted to be a coach, and then obviously I was struggling and I wasn't making any money, he's like, Tammy, he goes, you need to get your butt in gear. You know, you need to start making money. You need to support your children. You told me that you don't want to move your kids, you know, out of their house and support them on their own. So it ended up that 6 months later, I had made that goal that I said I wanted to be a coach. So I went through their coaching program, and I was a real estate coach with a top coaching firm for about 5 years. And I stayed there probably a little longer than I needed to, because I was coaching like 42 real estate agents at the time. And I had been coaching some of these people for like 3 or 4 years. And I didn't want to leave my clients, but as the economy was going down, they were cutting our pay, you know, same corporate story. They were cutting our pay, you know, making us do more. And I'm like, you know what? I'm your top coach. Why are you treating me like this? And so then I finally pulled the plug and then opened up my own coaching business in September of 2009.
So that's, what are we in? So that's like just a little over a year, or not quite a year, right?
Yeah, it's just my year anniversary just now, and I'm really proud of myself because I've never really been an entrepreneur. Obviously, I've always been a real estate agent, so I've always been on commission, which is hard to do. It's hard to make that leap from, you know, a paycheck to commission, but that's what I'm teaching people in this economy. What I love about this economy is that it's forcing people into their creativity. It's forcing people into their entrepreneurship. And that's really what people need to be doing. So I think that that's really a positive thing. And that's why I opened up Turning Passion into Profits, because I'm helping people get out of that corporate world, or people that are unemployed, to really take, okay, what are you good at? What are your God-given talents? What are you, what do people tell you that you're good at, and how can we make a profit from that? Because I think that's really what people are supposed to be made to do.
So
does that make sense?
In just, Tammy, for having your business for just right at a year, what you have done for the many people that you have helped successfully, and what you're doing is absolutely amazing. I just love it. What a success story. And I actually was involved with commission sales myself. It's not an easy thing when you really have to work for your paycheck. I mean, you're not getting it unless you actually do the job and bring the sales in. That's a rough road to hoe. I know that from experience as well. But how long have you been coaching now? Has it been just, you know, this whole entire time? And how many calls have you done?
I've actually been coaching since 2005. I've probably done over 9,000 coaching calls.
Wow.
Have coached people from New York to Hawaii. It was really interesting because when I opened up my own company, when I finally decided to leave, and I was so upset because I'm like, I don't know how to open up my own company. I don't know anything about opening up an own company. Like, I was a real estate agent, so, you know, I got my own website, and you hand them their business card, and then all of a sudden you have a website. Well, when I opened up my own company, they're like, okay, you have to write all your content. And I'm like, what? So it took me forever. And I honestly did not know how to do it, as embarrassing as it sounds. But what happened was, when I opened up my own coaching business, half of the people that came into my coaching schedule were entrepreneurs. They were not real estate agents. So I had to kind of switch gears, because this is how shallow my leap was from going from this other company to opening up my own company. Was I named my company Tammy Brunel Coaching because I didn't even know what to name it. I mean, that's how retarded it really was for, you know, another sake. So what happened was a couple months into it, I read the book Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's just a doll. And I read that book and I'm like, that's what I help people do. I help people turn their passion into profit. And because a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small business owners were coming into my schedule, and so I kind of had to switch gears. So then I invented that company, you know, turning passion into profit, which has been amazing. I'm really, really fortunate. I think if I can do it, I mean, I have a high school education. I don't have a college education. I come from a blue collar family. My mom worked at a bank. My dad worked for a manufacturing company, but I've really taken on this entrepreneurial spirit and was lucky enough to, you know, coach people and really be able to help people and surround myself with other coaches. I have 3 coaches myself. So I think that was a long answer to your question, but anyway.
No. That's fabulous.
Yeah, that's an awful lot of coaching calls, and I would imagine that through that time you went through some challenges through your coaching clients. Can you share with us what some of those coaching or what some of your coaching clients' challenges were? Because I can only imagine that you had to deal with quite a variety.
Yeah, you know, the coaching is almost like my first experience on being a therapist at a certain sense, and it's a lot about mindset. I'm a big visionary, and I'll tell you a little story. My very, very good friend, about before I got into coaching, he would always tell me, where do you want to be in 3 years? Where do you want to be next year? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And I'm like, you know what, can we just have lunch? Like, can we just, like, I don't even know what I'm doing this weekend. Like, please. You know, I have 2 kids and I'm married, and, you know, you're just kind of going through the cycle. And I'm like,
right.
I just don't even want to know that. And he was such a big visionary and bought this resort in Costa Rica and just like big thinker. And now he laughs at me because I'm like, that's the first thing that I go to. It's all about, you know, my vision. And that's what my coach told me. Is he goes, Tammy, we have to have a vision. Where do you want to be? And so he took me through this exercise that I'll share with you real quickly. You know, he says, where do you want to be personally? Where do you want to be professionally? Where do you want your love life? And the love life was really interesting because I'm like, my husband cheated on me at the time. So I'm like, okay. So I wrote, I just want him to be a non-cheating son of a bitch. That's what I wrote. I'm like, that's all I want. You know, and that's basically what I got is, you know, for the meantime, you know, I was kind of in the man-hater club for, you know, a couple years. But it's really interesting when you do that, you get, because I was really clear on what I wanted. And the 4th one is your family. And then the 5th one is, you know, for your financial independence or your spiritual life. You know, so he took me through that. And I constantly do that every time I'm in a funk, or I do that with my coaching clients. So to answer your question, Brian, the big challenge is getting people out of the economy is down. I don't like what's going on. I'm reading all these reports, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about in our 5 bust out strategies. And, you know, a lot of it is relationship problems, you know, where you are with your assistant. Do you have an assistant? You know, do you have a vision? Do you have a plan? You know, a lot of them they don't. They're just kind of going through the day to day. I mean, you guys know how it is. You know, with a lot of people, they just kind of go through the motions.
You know, so actually, a lot of it is a mind shift. It's just changing how they were thinking in the role that they were playing before they're moving into this new, you know, this whole new entrepreneurial world and success and strategies. It is totally different. And
yeah, I mean,
I think that's why it's in.
A lot of the coaching, Kathy and Brian, is nothing that you can't find on the internet. I mean, we all read books and we all, you know, look at webinars and we all get inspired, but it's really about connection. It's really about, you know, being inspired by somebody else that's doing more than you. And that's one of my strategies also is it has to be about support. It has to be about being accountable. It has to be about having that bigger vision, not being like going into this hermit mode that so many people are going into right now with this economy, that they're scared, they're afraid, they have anxiety, they have stress, and then they just go into hermit mode and they're just suffocating themselves. And I'm like, you guys need to get out and talk to other people, because there's people that are making money in this economy. There's million of millionaires that are going to be born in this economy, and I'm going to be one of them.
Yeah, we were just talking right before the show.
I like that. Well, I think something that you said earlier really resonated with me, and that was the fact that you have coaches yourself. And I think it's very important to have more than one mentor, because mentors have expertise in different areas, and they can lead us and guide us in different ways, and point us in the directions that we need to go. So I think that's awesome that you shared the fact that you have more than one mentor. Brian and I do as well. And the other thing that I want to interject here is, as well as this, we have met some of our mentors at some of the events that all three of us have been to at the same time. Didn't connect there, but it's amazing when you go to some of these events, the people that you can connect with. In fact, one of our mentors is on the chat right now, Linda P. Jones.
Hi, Linda.
Who has the Global Institute of Visionary Wealth for Women and men too. But she has been a phenomenal mentor to us, and is to many other people as well. But what I wanted to ask you is, who do you like to work with, Tammy, and who would you say is your ideal client?
My ideal client is somebody that has some level of success right now, but they're really looking to go to that next level, and they're kind of getting caught up with the economy or making excuses for themselves. So I'm able to take people out of the excuse mode. I'll give you an example. I coach a bunch of realtors, obviously, because that's my background. And my whole thing is they have to prospect in the morning. It's like so crucial. So anybody that's in sales or network marketing, or anything that you want to get more customers, your main focus has to be to do that in the morning, because your existing customers, your existing clients, your existing pending contracts, whatever, are going to be there at 11 o'clock. But that's something that we constantly do, is that we put that on the back burner, and then it never ever happens. So we keep dissipating it. So my ideal client is somebody that has a good database but is not utilizing it correctly, because the biggest source, everybody's trying to jump onto the new thing. Oh, I want to do this new internet marketing thing. Oh, I want to, do this new Facebook thing. I'm going to make money on Twitter. But the reality is, it's about your connections. It's about the relationships that you have with your current clients, your current customers, your current networking, that can make a big, huge difference. Because obviously, and you guys know, the easiest business to get is a referral, other than going for a cold fish. I mean, you guys know that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Total sense.
Absolutely.
All right. One thing I'm really curious about, Tammy, is you have a huge following in various social media avenues, especially Facebook and Twitter. How did you get to the point of having such a huge following?
Yeah, that's, you know what, I would like to say that, I was a social media expert, and that I was told good ho and I get it, but I totally fell on this by accident. And I think, now I'm teaching people how to do it, because I'm like, okay, I did it the wrong way, and I did it so fast that you guys can do it too. What happened was, I got on Facebook because of my brother. My brother is 10 years my junior, and he's like, Tammy, you need to get on Facebook. This is so cool, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh yeah. Okay. I have 4 teenagers. So I'm thinking it's like an upgraded MySpace. And this was probably about 18 months ago. And then he started tagging me in videos and communicating with me. But then I saw the real value in it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a huge database builder. What took me 10 years to build my database for my real estate business, I was able to build that 3 times as more in less than 12 months. And I was teaching people and teaching rookies of the year in real estate. And then I hopped on Twitter, because a lot of my coaching clients were asking me about Twitter, and I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about Twitter. So I go on Twitter and I'm like, this is so stupid. I can't even believe it. I don't even get it. Like, this is the stupidest thing I ever. Yeah.
Yep.
But what happened was, and this is super funny, and this is the power of Twitter, is that my coaching clients kept asking me, but then I started seeing it on like ETV and Entertainment Tonight, and I'm like, oh man, you know, I have to stay on top of the game. As a coach, I have to be on the front end, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to just bear down on this weekend, and I'm just going to spend my whole entire weekend on Twitter. So I'm on Twitter literally on Saturday and Sunday, and I just finally give up because I'm like, I don't get it. So I put out a plea, and I'm like, I really don't get this Twitter thing. Somebody please help me. So this wonderful man texts or tweets me back, and he's a restaurant coach of all things. Never even heard of a restaurant coach. And so he starts helping me. So we start going back and forth, and he finally gets a little frustrated with me because I'm a little bit slow on the whole technology thing. And he says, Tammy, can I just call you? Now, I have 5 kids. I'm married. I haven't had a man ask me for my phone number for quite some time. So what do? I give it to him, right? I'm like, husband, I'm like, honey, this guy's asking me for my phone number. He wants to help me with my tweets. He's like, what? And so anyways, he was a mean streak in helping me get on Twitter. And the main thing with social media is that, and I did this with Twitter because I wanted to go in there. I was having some success with Facebook. I think I had like 1,500 friends at the time. I had some success with Facebook. So I went over to Twitter, and I'm like, I don't want to go in there as a 20-year real estate veteran. I don't want to go in there as a, 5-year business coach. I want to go in there as a brand new person because I coach a lot of people that are new in their business. That's really my expertise. Like taking people that are out of the corporate world, brand new in real estate, change marketplaces, whatever, and show them how to really create a following really quickly. So I go in there as a whole raw food expert, which seems really kind of weird, but I was helping my friend promote this product. So I'm like, I'm just going to go in there as a mom of 5 and, be a whole raw food expert. And I was addicted to Twitter. I was like on there all the time and relating with some people and doing some amazing stuff and making some amazing connections. And what happened, about 2,500 followers in, and what I did is I thought, and for those of you that want to be on Twitter or want to be on Facebook, what you want to do is you want to create 4 lead sources. Like, who are your best customers? So for me, for the whole raw food, it's like, okay, who's going to be somebody that's interested in whole raw food? Okay, moms, obviously. I connect with moms. I have 5 kids. Fitness experts. Whole raw food people, obviously. And then wellness people. People that are holistic doctors or whatever. I've been going to a holistic doctor for like 5 years. And so that's what I did. And so I started to follow all these people and really gained this big following like really, really quickly. So I made like in 45 days, 2,500 followers, which is crazy. And then people started to ask me about whole raw food. I tweeted something and somebody said, Tammy, what do you think about the new organic juice at Costco? And I'm like, oh goodness. But I'm coached by a whole raw food expert. That's one of my coaches because I love to be into whole raw food, even though I'm guilty. I don't do it all the time. And so it ends up, I said, oh, if it's anything like naked juice, if the ingredients are the same, then it's probably great. Then the people from Naked Juice contact me and say, oh, thank you so much for promoting my product. It ends up that, Naked Juice, right?
Right.
It's a little tiny family here in LA that invented it. We connected. She lives in Beverly Hills. She has 2 little kids. We had lunch. It was like awesome. But I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I called my girlfriend. I'm like, okay, I built this profile for you. I'm not a whole raw food expert, but you need to jump on board. Of course she didn't because she's not business savvy. So I changed my profile bio to what it really should be, you know, real estate speaker, coach, trainer, before I opened up my own business, because I was still working for this other company, and built a following of like 4,000 followers in 90 days.
Right
and that
on.
ended me up on the Dr. Phil show.
Right on.
Wow.
Which is
that's why.
crazy.
I saw a picture of you with him. So that's how you got there. Very
That's
cool.
how I got there. They were looking for, and this was a year ago to the date, because I had just quit my other company, and they were looking for people that were on social media, that were moms, and they were addicted to social media, but they were looking for Twitter experts, which is funny because I wasn't a Twitter expert. I don't know anything about Twitter, but I just built a big following just by communicating with people. And yeah, it ended me up on the Dr. Phil show, which was very, very cool. The episode never actually aired because the producers didn't even know what they were doing, because they were trying to do a live feed. Twitter's live.
Oh.
Unlike Facebook. Unlike Facebook, you post a status update, as you guys know, right? Yeah. And it stays on there. The Twitter feed, I'll post something right now, an hour from now, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's like way down the stream.
Yes.
So they didn't get that. So the episode never actually aired. But I got my picture with Dr. Phil, so that's all I care about.
No kidding. So let me ask you this. What do you think are the biggest mistakes that people are making when it comes to social media? I have a few of my own. I'm interested to hear what yours are.
Oh, gosh. I just put out a post today, but I have plenty, and we don't have time for all of them. But two things. Conversation is always better than content. Always. I think a lot of people get on social media, they think, oh, I hear all about social media, this is the way I'm going to make money. I've been able to make a lot of money on social media. That's how I built 75% of my business. However,
right.
I do not promote my business on social media. Hardly ever. I don't promote my product. I don't promote my coaching. Very rarely. But what I do is I share myself. I share my personality, I share my family, and, you know, I promote other people's stuff. You know, I'm a big believer in promoting other people's products or services, or saying they're so great, because I think what you give, you get back. So again, conversation's always better than content, and that's what I coach on in my social media talks that I do. You know, I say for every 10 posts that you make, one of them should be about your business. And the other one should be something engaging. And post on other people's stuff. When you're just getting started, just respond to other people's stuff and get to know them and see how you can help and support them. I mean, that's really how I built that big of a following. I'm capped out on friends. I have 5,000 friends. If you go to my Facebook page, it says, you know, 4,700, but I have 900 in my inbox that I haven't added yet, just because I want room for other people that I actually know. I have 12,000 followers on Twitter, and I don't know how many connections I have on LinkedIn. I'm not a big, I have to admit, I don't like LinkedIn that much. I know we're supposed to use it, but my assistant does most of that. But conversation's always better than content. And then don't spam your people. Don't promote your product. Don't send them something. Like, I get something every single day from some of my people that are friends with me on Facebook as a message that's promoting their product, promoting their webinar. And I think I only have one or two that have really great information that I keep. And I just actually posted that today on my Facebook. I'm like, I'm so tired of people that are just slamming their stuff on, you know, my message, and they're screwing up my little wall that I got going on here, because, you know, there's actually people that communicate with me on Facebook. Obviously, that's my preferred way of communicating, because I really hate email. I get like 300 a day. So if you want to contact me, like, I don't even have email on my business card, because I'm like, you can connect with me on Facebook or Twitter.
It gets crazy.
It does. It's just nuts. So the people that are spamming, you know, their stuff or promoting their product, it's just, it doesn't work. And that's the big mistake I think a lot of people make, is that they don't get that it's a conversation. It's like going to an open network party every day and you wouldn't jump in a conversation and say, "Oh, hi, I'm Tammy. I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, house to sell." You wouldn't do that. You would engage in the conversation and be interested in them. So that's my 2 cents on the whole social media thing.
Yeah, it's totally, and I agree, and I know Brian does too. We've had, this has been a topic of conversation with us. It's really important to connect. That's what it's all about. And at the top of the hour, we had talked about us both being involved in affiliate marketing. So we do utilize some social media in an automated fashion, but it's done in such a way that you still feel that connection, even though it's not there. But
Kathy, that's how you and I met. Like, I saw you, yes, and you're like connected like with so many people, and so I reached out to you, and I'm like, Kathy, I said, we need to connect. I had no idea what you even did, to be honest with you, and I appreciate you so much, you and Brian, allowing me on your show. But I had no idea. It wasn't my intention to get on your show. I'm just like, okay, who the hell is she? What's going on? Why don't I know her? Like, she's going to all the same stuff. It happened to Craig and I.
What she said.
Like, Craig Deswald and I know so many different people when we're in the real estate industry. I'm like, how do I not know you? But it's a great avenue.
Well, and talking about Craig, he's having problem connecting in and watching the show. We've had a couple of people that are saying that they're having an issue with that. So I'm not sure if you can hear us. If you're on the internetcitadel.com page, you should be able to just click on the video box. I don't know what the term is
the refresh,
and it should be working. So
let's switch gears real quick. Let's get into.
He said, okay, he'll talk to us. What's that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's switch gears real quick. Let's go into something that, Tammy, you're obviously very passionate about. It's something you've created called Turning Passion into Profits. Now there's a link beneath us. It's got a banner. It says Turning Passion into Profits. And for those of you watching the show live, don't click there yet. Wait till the show's over and then click on that link and be sure to get additional information. But we'll cover that right now. How did that get started, Tammy?
Well, how that got started, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, because when I opened up my own coaching and training business, I thought I was just going to be a real estate coach. So I opened up Tammy Brunell Coaching and Training, which that's the best name I could come up with. And then I read Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Crush It. And a lot of people that were coming into my schedule were not real estate people. They were entrepreneurs, people coming out of corporate, people that were, small business owners that really wanted to know how to thrive in this economy. So I'm like, okay, that's what I teach people how to do, is turn their passion into profit. That's what I'm doing. Is I love to coach. That's my favorite thing in the world, but I only want to do it one day a week, because my most favorite thing is to speak and train, which I do the other 4 days of the week. And I'm like, I can believe that I wake up every day and say, I can't believe that I get paid to do this. So that's my goal for all my coaching clients, is to say, I want you to wake up every day and say, I cannot believe that I get paid to do this. And isn't that what everybody deserves?
Absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, the corporate world is like, nobody wants to go to a job. And then, the old school is, you get this $100,000 education, right? And I feel really bad for all these college kids. I have 3 kids in college right now.
Wow.
But we're paying for their college education. However, we're teaching them how to be entrepreneurs, because in this economy, and we're never going to see the economy that we had 4 years ago ever again in our lifetime. It's just not going to happen. We're going back to a cash society. We don't let our kids have credit cards, but they have to be in business for themselves. Because there's all these kids graduating from college, they can't find a job.
What are they going to do? Yeah. What are they going to do?
These people that have master's degrees, they can't find a job. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So we're teaching them how to be entrepreneurs.
Coaches, and that's why it's important to have coaches like you, Tammy, out there, that when there are folks and young people as well that are transitioning from lost jobs or job changes, whatever it may be, or graduating from college and looking for a direction, the opportunity that you provide for these kind of individuals is phenomenal. With the background that you have in the real estate industry, in direct sales, in coaching and teaching, is the kind of thing that that is much needed out there. So we're very thankful for people like you out there doing what it is that you do.
Thank you.
I think that
that's my.
Go ahead.
That's my big mission in life right now, and I'm working on a program to help college kids be able to be an entrepreneur, because the college system isn't helping them do that. I was interviewing for interns about 3 months ago, and I had this amazing graphic artist come into me, and I said, can you do this? Can you build me a Twitter back page? Can you do this? He's like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. I said, do you realize that I would pay you $100 to do that? I said, how long would that take you to do? He goes, about an hour. I said, so do you want to be my intern for $10 an hour, or do you want to make $100 an hour? And I've given that kid literally over $5,000 worth of work in the last 3 months, because they're just not teaching these kids.
So it sounds like he chose the latter.
Yeah, I'm like, he goes, Mrs. Burnell, I don't want to apply for this job anymore. So the more kids I can get into that room to teach them, so that's what I'm doing with some of my success events, is I'm providing half of the income to go and teach some of these college students how to actually be an entrepreneur, because they have amazing skills. Like, I don't know how to do stuff. I don't know how to do a lot of things, but I would pay, a fortune, because I need that. And they're going and working at, Starbucks or Bed Bath & Beyond or whatever. It's very, very
like
sad.
You said earlier, we can't all be experts in everything, right? So to have the resources available to us to handle some of the things that we don't know, or in some cases don't have time to do, that's a perfect solution for that.
No, for sure.
I was thinking that, Brian, you might want to segue into talking about Tammy's beautiful banner down below us.
Oh, yeah. Once again, folks, for those of you watching the show live on the internetcitadel.com, soon to be celebritycreators.com, we are switching our brand. Just beneath us as we are talking live, and if you're watching this as a recording, you can pause the video and actually click on that banner beneath and get more information about potential possibility of working with Tammy Burnell. She's the creator of Turning Passion into Profits. Very passionate, as you can see, just watching right now, about coaching. She loves what she does, and she is very good at it. So be sure to click on that banner and connect with Tammy and see what she can do for you and your business. You just heard a great example of what she did for a young individual who made what I think and we all think is a smart decision, kind of a no-brainer, and now he's doing very well because of Tammy. So kudos to you, Tammy, and what you're doing to help improve the lives of others as you touch out, reach out and touch them. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
Now, we've heard you say that you're not participating in this economy. Go ahead, Kathy.
All right. Who's talking? We should probably bust into these 5 bust-out strategies, guys, because we only have 15 minutes left.
Yes. And you have talked about it a few times throughout the show that you are not participating in the economy. So let's hear it.
All right. So my 5 bust-out strategies that I'm coaching with my coaching clients. Number 1 is stop watching the news. Stop reading the papers. Stop participating in all the bad press. I know a lot of people that need to know this for their, information. Like, I have one real estate client that actually, researches it. He does, he's on CNN, and he's watching the numbers. It's important to know kind of where our economy is going, but when you're looking at that, don't spend a lot of time on it. What can you do to improve? What is your God-given talents? What are you able to do that you can really provide for this economy? Like I said, there's a lot of millionaires that are going to come out of this economy. So if you're all doom and gloom, it just puts you in a bad place. You go into hermit mode. I coach a lot of these people. I'm like, you have to get out from the computer, out of Facebook, even though I'm a big Facebook person. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of people go into hermit mode because they're scared, they're afraid, they have stress, they have anxiety, and they don't want to connect with other people. So you have to get out of that watching all this bad press, because if you do, you're just going to be, totally depressed. my second strategy is that you kind of need to raise the bar on who you're surrounding yourself with. And I'll give you a little exercise. My coach did this with me about 5 years ago. And it was like, oh, I need to get some new friends, because I have a core group of girlfriends that I've known since I was 10. And we still get together. I love them. I adore them. But I'm the only one that's an entrepreneur. Every single one of them is a school teacher. They work at a school and they have jobs. So they don't connect with me on the level that I'm at or that I want to go. And not saying a bad thing. It's just I love them. I adore them. But it's just they're my core group. Like if my dad died or my mom died or something like that. But as far as a business sense, so think about the 5 people that you surround yourself with and write those people down. The people that you hang out with the most. It could be your mom, your sister, your best friend, your bar buddy, I don't care, you know, your coworker, whatever. And then write down what you think they make. Okay, and this isn't rocket science. Just get an average. If they're a school teacher, you know, they make $30,000. If they're, you know, maybe work in corporate America, maybe they make $55,000. Just think about what they make. And then once you have those 5, then what I want you to do is average those 5. And I bet you that that's what you make a year. And 9 times out of 10, it is true. So I'm like, damn, I need to get some new friends. So I'm like, okay, I love you, best friends, but I had to create another mastermind, you know, and I'm always kind of raising the bar on, you know, who I'm surrounding myself with. Like Bill Walsh is a great example with Power Team International. He has an Inspiration 2020 coming up that is going to be amazing. And he's taken me under his wing. I don't know why, but, you know, he's a multi-millionaire. I called him on his birthday. His birthday, I think, was September 14th. And I tried to text him, and it didn't work for whatever reason. So I just picked up the phone. And I'm like, hey, Bill, what are you doing today? He goes, oh, I'm flying on a private jet with a couple of my friends. We're going to the Bahamas for a few days. All right.
Nice,
I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody that flies on a private jet on a regular basis that goes for their birthday to Bahamas. So that was a really, really great connection for me. And then I have this mastermind group down in Santa Clarita with a bunch of other, you know, financial people, internet marketers, people that I don't know anything about. I'm not good at the finances. I'm not good at numbers. I'm not analytical, as you know, as you can see. I'm very driver personality, expressive personality. So I need to gravitate towards other people that are doing more than I am and that are know more than I do. Because you have to be in constant learning mode. And I think when you're in constant learning mode, you're just in a better position to feel empowered and to feel that drive. My coach 6 years ago said, when he was trying to get me out of this funk and this drama and all the stuff that I had going on, he says, Tammy, what is the last book that you read? And there was total silence. And I was embarrassed because I was like 36 at the time. And the last book I read was in high school. And I said, I don't think I've read a book since high school. So I read this book called The Power of Now. So if you're listening to this and you're kind of in a funk, I've literally read that book like 6 times. I've dog-eared it. I've highlighted it to death. But it's a powerful, powerful book. And there's a saying in that says, forget about your life situation for a while and start living your life. And it's such a powerful saying, and especially for a lot of people in this economy. And now I'm like reading 2 or 3 books a week. My husband buys me books all the time because he's too lazy to read them. He's like, okay, Tam, you know, you here you go, you read them.
Paraphrase them
yeah,
for him?
yeah. He goes, narrate it for me. But the interesting thing, my mind doesn't work. Like I can read a book and blog about it or write it, but I can't tell you about it. Like my brain just, you know, kind of doesn't work like that. So I'm kind of, you know, kind of shadowing myself a little bit here and kind of embarrassing myself here, but my brain just doesn't work like that. But I have to like be constantly reading something or being on top of my game because I am a business coach and really wanting to see what everybody else is doing and what everybody else should be doing to get their business up and running. Because I think with social media, the playing field is even. It really is. How much time we have? Okay, we have 9 minutes. So what am I on? Number 3?
But you want to know something? I want to interject this. I think that's all part of it, is being, like you said, in a constant learning mode. I know that both Brian and I find ourselves doing that, and we do it together. We brainstorm, and when we're brainstorming, it's not just ideas, but we find ourselves finding informational things out on the internet, or being referenced new books, or whatever it is, and we kind of share that back and forth. But I think that it helps us stay on top of our game, if you will, so that we can be all that we need to be to other people, and have that additional knowledge to be able to help others. So that's a great point, Tammy.
I mean, you guys are on top of your game too, because the reality is most people won't take the initiative to learn. That's why you and I are in business. People pay me for stuff they could get for free. Really.
Sure.
I mean, if I'm being completely honest and being completely frank, but I'm willing to do the work ahead of the game to tell you what you need to do and hold you accountable. And I have one hand down, one hand up, saying, help me, I'm going to help you. And most people aren't willing to do that, which is sad, but it's true. But we're all here to, help people that we can, and the people that are willing to ask for the help. So it's all good. All right. So number 3 is attitude. It seems like a simple thing, but when I get people on coaching calls, a lot of it's, all about their attitude, what they think they're capable of accomplishing. And it comes back from strategy 1 and 2. Stop listening to the news, and who are you surrounding yourself with? The more that you can surround yourself with people that are doing more than you, that aren't participating in this economy. Like you guys, I'm a big event person. I love going to events. I always say your business is directly affected by the number of quality events that you go to.
Perfect.
Big time. Because the events are huge, and it's a great way to connect with people that are doing more than you are, and your network is equal to your net worth. Bottom line. You can go out and get all these systems and pay for all the stuff that you want, and you just go to town. And most people, like I've had the first 25 people that bought my 30-day business makeover, 80% of them have not even completed it.
Wow.
Crazy. Crazy. Because I was trying to get testimonies from all of them, like, oh, I didn't do it. I'm like, you paid $400 for the system and you didn't use it?
It's so sad. That happens all too often.
Isn't that crazy? It does. And even Tony Robbins says that. He goes, he congratulates people that go on day 2 or week 2 or whatever. He goes, I'm so proud of you, because most people, 90% of the people, invest in something and then they don't take it. Yeah. And I find that in my coaching sometimes. People invest in the coaching. They're like, oh, I'm going to pay her so much money for the coaching, and that's going to make me a superstar in my business. I'm like, no, you have to do the work.
Yeah.
You have to work. Well, you know what? I think there's so many people out there, though, that are saying that you don't have to do a lot of work. You just buy this.
The wrong message.
And you don't have to do a lot of work, and it just magically happens.
That really, really frustrates me. That is like, it's so frustrating. Like, it's like this such easy system. I actually put out a post on Facebook a couple days ago, because I actually spent 45 minutes on this webinar with this millionaire guy, and I was kind of intrigued, and I kind of got sucked in, and like his system and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to hold off on that. It sounds good, and I think people are getting really tired of that approach.
Yes.
Then the next week, he's selling that system for $1.
I know.
$1.
I know.
And I'm like, so I put out this post. I think I got like 30 comments. I'm like, dear internet marketers, we are so tired of you. The public is not that stupid. We're just not. Yeah. So it's something that I always try to put out there is like really great information, or people that I know that I trust that have really good either content or product or service that works that I've used myself, and I never spam my list ever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brian, I interrupted
Oh, no,
you.
no. Something that Kathy and I saw over the weekend, which was so unbelievably refreshing, was Brian Tracy on the stage touting exactly what you're talking about right now, that, look, people, it takes work. It's not going to be handed to you. It's not a magic button.
Yeah.
You can't press a button on a piece of software and magically you're rich. You can't build a Twitter following with no effort, or a Facebook following. It takes work to achieve success, and it's good that we have more people like you, Tammy, spreading that message, because that is the truth. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes sacrifice.
I think people are really, really tired of hearing the BS.
Yes.
You know, it takes hard work. I didn't build this huge following on social media, and that's my number 4 thing, you know, on, you know, bust out of this economy, is you have to be a social media superstar. And anybody can do it. If I can do it, you certainly can do it. If people say, oh, you got the personality, that's such crap. If you build a good following and you surround yourself with the right amount of people, like I didn't have credibility before I started on social media. Nobody knew who I was, you know, but we share a lot of ourselves. You know, we always have Baby Jace on there, you know, like people I follow you. It's kind of weird, like people's, like, it's kind of like celebrity status, you know, in your own little town or whatever, but it's kind of cool because it's like almost borrowed credibility, I call it, you know. Do you guys know what borrowed credibility is? Like, if you guys look at my website, or if you have a link on there, if you go to my website, I have Dr. Phil on there, I have Les Brown, I have Brian Tracy, I have James Malinchak, I have Craig Duswalt. You know, it's kind of like borrowed credibility. People think that I am somebody, but I'm really not. But I'm just doing. You are.
Well, it helped you to get. It helps you to gain even further.
I'm just saying that I'm normal. Well, to a certain extent,
You're just like us, who are like everybody else. We're just
and that's
average people.
I think what people are missing out with social media is that the social media platform that it's allowing you it's evening the platform. Like Brian Tracy and I, we do the same thing. And I know Brian, and actually I'm hoping that we're going to be doing a joint venture together here pretty soon. But we both do this 30-day total business makeover. Well, on Google, if you type in 30-day total business makeover, Brian Tracy and I are neck and neck. Okay, Brian Tracy's huge.
Yes.
Nobody knows who the hell Tammy Drake Burnell is. Okay, maybe on social media a little bit, but you know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. So we're going to be able to do a joint venture together. I actually had, and I know we've only got a few more minutes, but the cool thing about social media is I was just reading this book, the online playbook. I don't have it in front of me, but I loved this book. It was awesome. And it was by Frank somebody, and I'm sorry I don't have the name, but I connected with him on Facebook. Wow. And I instant messaged him, and I'm like, Frank, I love your book. I love your stuff. We're implementing, you know, all the things that you told me. I said, do you have an affiliate program? And he goes, yeah, Tammy, I do. And so we're totally in conversation. Like, he's a multi-millionaire, and we're talking on Facebook. That's the power of Facebook. All right, so last strategy is, and I know we got to go, you got to get a plan, or get a plan, period. And it doesn't have to be a year plan. Get a 30-day plan. That's my big advice to all my coaching clients. A year plan doesn't work because you have no freaking idea where you're going to be in a year, where the economy is going to be in a year. So do 30-day little spurts. And that's what I do with my coaching clients. So again, you guys, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Tammy,
I hope I didn't talk too much.
I'm
sure I probably did.
Oh, no, that's why we brought you on, to share your knowledge.
Yes, you were absolutely phenomenal. And it's like we come to the end every week, and we've got to tell you, every guest that we have is so special. And you've just added another part of special to our audience and to Brian and I. You've really enriched our lives, Tammy, by sharing and telling everybody the things that you do. But it never fails. 7 o'clock comes around so fast, I can't believe it. Right, Brian?
I know. I was worried. I'm like, what am I going to talk about for an hour?
You know what? It just goes by. And I think that's what's so special about what Brian and I do, Tammy. And that's,
amazing.
We love people. we love sharing and giving back to others. So it's just kind of free and easy when we get together and spend time with each other and with our guests. So I just want to tell you from me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so thankful for the connection that we made on Facebook, and what you do to share your entrepreneurialism as an entrepreneur and also as a woman is absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to say to Brian, my dear friend, that I just enjoy spending every Tuesday with, and actually every day on the phone. But just thank you so much for all that you do to help put this together. And I'm going to turn it back to you, Brian.
All right, back at you, Kathy. I completely appreciate you for everything you do and for our friendship. But Tammy, thank you so much for spending the time with us on this show. Be sure, everyone who's watching, to click on Turning Passion into Profits. That is a creation of Tammy Burnell. And we really, really appreciate you all. We love you all. Thank you for spending time with us tonight. We'll see you again next week. Good night now.
Good night.
All right. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thanks.